Today's video suggestion was provided by HERSHEY. I really like this idea of listing off some roller coasters that aren't the greatest, but not bad either. However, I am making one minor change to this concept, and I won't be ranking the coasters in any particular order, because these are okay middle-of-the-road attractions. It's nearly impossible to rank which one is better than the other. Please note, just because a roller coaster is featured on this list doesn't mean it's a bad ride. I am saying that all these attractions are neither good or bad, just right down the middle. Alright, on to the list. Grizzly, located at King's Dominion. I hear many complain that this is one of the roughest wooden coasters out there, which I would wholeheartedly disagree. I didn't think this wooden roller coaster was any rougher than your typical wooden coaster. However, the layout is left something to be desired. There are a couple pops of air scattered throughout its 3,100 feet of track, but nothing noteworthy. It's your basic wooden coaster featuring lightly banked turns, dips and dives, nothing overly extreme. It wouldn't hurt to take a spin on Grizzly, just don't expect to be amazed. Roadrunner Express at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. Aerodynamics has been primarily known for their extreme looping coasters and their fun family mine train attractions. Roadrunner Express was sold to me as one of the best mine train coasters on the planet. The ride is placed brilliantly along the quarry wall, but unfortunately this coaster didn't live up to the hype. It's still a decent ride, just not as great as I was expecting. The ride setting is of course very neat, but also overshadowed by Iron Rattler, which towers over Roadrunner Express, just standing right next to it. I think this ride fits in nicely as a family coaster, which is what it truly is, so I was a little uncomfortable placing this attraction on today's list, but decided since it was oversold as something more than what it really is, which is a decent family mine train coaster, I thought it fit nicely on today's list. Sooperdooperlooper at Hersheypark. Built by the legendary Schwarzkopf, this terrain looping coaster interacts with many attractions in the area. The ride starts off with a bang by sending you into a strong, G-force-filled vertical loop, but unfortunately the rest of the ride doesn't match that original level of intensity. Sooperdooperlooper takes you on a nice journey along the hillside, with a few dips and dives, oh and there's a tunnel as well, but nothing truly noteworthy. I would say that this coaster would make a great stepping stone for a beginner coaster enthusiast, as it does offer some thrills in the beginning, but doesn't completely overwhelm you like Great Bear, which is standing right over this classic steel coaster. Just like many Schwarzkopf looping coasters, the ride has maintained a smooth track throughout its 40+ years of operation, so it may not wow you, but it's not going to break your back. Iron Dragon at Cedar Point. My first suspended roller coaster, Iron Dragon, like Roadrunner Express, is more of a family coaster than a thrill machine, so I was a little hesitant to include it on this list, but I decided to move forward. It features a nice ride time including 2 lift hills, but unfortunately the ride never really reaches its full potential. The best part of the ride is the final helix as you are swinging over the body of water. The first half of the roller coaster is very tame and almost feels pointless. Thankfully, the ride is completely harmless, as it is smooth, somewhat enjoyable experience. We all need that breather coaster in between riding other super intense attractions like Millennium Force, Top Thrill Dragster, and Raptor. Joker's Jinx, Six Flags America. Some might be offended that I would think Joker's Jinx is a middle-of-the-road coaster. The ride does feature a solid launch, and those first couple inversions really pack some G-forces, but for a good chunk of the ride, you're just spinning around in circles. Joker is a spaghetti bowl of track, and it's rather impressive how much ride they were able to cram into that little space, but just like Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney's Hollywood Studios, the ride loses excitement after the initial launch and inversion. Honestly, I'd rather be riding Superman Ride of Steel, which is right next to Joker's Jinx, but I'm not complaining if I find myself standing in line. Steel Force, located at Dorney Park. If you've been following my channel for a while now, you would remember that this roller coaster was featured on another list, a list of roller coasters I'd like destroyed. Of course, destroying this roller coaster would be overkill, as it's really not a bad ride, just a boring one. Every other Morgan coaster that I have ridden is usually loaded with fun floater and/or ejector airtime. Every time that I've ridden this roller coaster, I have been left underwhelmed. Dare I even say that this roller coaster has no airtime? It's crazy because its layout looks like you should be flying out of your seat for the entire duration. Instead, I imagine myself sipping a cup of tea as I take a gentle excursion alongside the back of the park. Goliath, located at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Honestly, it's the worst hypercoaster, hands down, but still being the worst hypercoaster can be better than most roller coasters. Goliath features little airtime and has one of the worst first drops on any Hyper Giga coaster. It's basically the same steepness as Millennium Force's Lift Hill. The coaster's redeeming feature is at the final helix, which really packs in the G's. I grayed out during this maneuver and even started venturing close to blacking out. I believe the ride now operates with stronger trim brakes, so the forces are not as strong as they were back in 2013, but I assume they're still noteworthy. It's also another smooth coaster, so no rattle or pain. Just don't expect to be blown away. Thunderbolt, located at Six Flags New England. Built in 1941, Thunderbolt has some of the classic wooden coaster charm. Unfortunately, it doesn't deliver much in terms of airtime or overall thrills, but it's an easygoing wooden coaster that provides a different change of pace from other roller coasters like Wicked Cyclone, Superman the Ride, and Goliath. During my 2-day visit to the park, this roller coaster was only operating with one train, making it the second longest wait in the park, right behind Pandemonium. With a longer wait time than Superman or Wicked Cyclone, it makes it a challenge to consider waiting in line since it's such a mediocre attraction. If you happen to visit the park on a slow day, and the line doesn't look to be too long, make sure to snag a ride before the wait makes it, well, not worth waiting. Kingda, located at Six Flags Great Adventure. Currently the tallest roller coaster on the planet and the fastest roller coaster in the United States, Kingda stands a whopping 456 feet, which is taller than some skyscrapers. With a launch shooting you from 0 to 128 miles per hour in about 4 seconds, this ride can pack a mean punch. Unfortunately, this roller coaster also has a mean rattle, and with those annoying over-the-shoulder restraints, Kingda doesn't feel like it lives up to the hype like it should. As I said in the past, I prefer Top Thrill Dragster for many reasons, but Kingda can still hold its own. Kingda may never make its way into my top 10 list, but that doesn't mean that this is a garbage attraction. This is clearly the best of the mid-tiered coasters discussed on today's list. Alright, well that was my collection of okay mid-tiered roller coasters. Remember, these aren't roller coasters that are bad, just not saying that they're top-tiered. Some might argue with my list and even feature some of these roller coasters in your top 10 or top 25, which is perfectly fine. My opinion isn't say all, nor should it be. We all have our own preferences. What you might consider to be a bad roller coaster, maybe I look fondly upon it, who knows. Every roller coaster on today's list are rides that you shouldn't avoid, but maybe keep your expectations tempered. Well, thank you for watching today's video. Let me know in the comments which roller coasters you would consider okay roller coasters, mid-tiered coasters. As always, please subscribe so you don't miss out on more great content coming your way by XscreamThrills.